talking today about the healing power of vulnerability. And it was part of the conversation we had with our panel last week, 3 body image, body confidence coaches, and how we took it from not just focusing on the physical body only, but the deeper cut required to gain true self-confidence, which involves feeling your emotions and taking a few risks and stepping outside the comfort zone and stepping outside the old beliefs
Yeah.
that we've been told that we're not good enough by people who have been hurt. And I wanted to share a story with you because I had thought I was not too bad a public speaker, though I had gone through a lot of challenging times to get to that place. But one night, a couple of years ago, I was in front of a group of about 60 women, business women in the town I live near, Bend, Oregon. And I had spent, I swear to God, a week memorizing this 5-minute thing about what I do. And I got up there. Something had happened before. I was watching a video on some homeless people that it was another segment of the evening. And this older woman looked so much like my dad, and I didn't know it at the time, but it just like sent arrows into my heart. It was so touching. And then I'm next. I get up and I think I have my 5-minute spiel ready to go. And I looked out at the audience and my mind just went just blank.
Mm.
And it was horrible.
Mm.
I'd never had that happen before. I felt embarrassed. I felt kind of ashamed for some reason, like that shouldn't have happened. But what I just did was stand up there and told the truth. I just said, wow, I can't believe that, this is, my mind has just gone blank, and I'm just going to put my cards out and, most of you know who I am, and I'll be here later. And then I just sat down. And I could see the shock on people's faces, and it just felt horrible. But I sat down and I just said, wow, I'm just going to be with myself right now and feel some compassion.
Yeah.
And all these gals said to me, good for you,
Yeah.
good for you to not beat yourself up. So there was some camaraderie with these women, and the fact that I did my best and it still kind of flubbed up. I was kind of hard on myself for a couple of days, and I wrote to people and said, I'm sorry, because I was going to also say something about their business. But a couple of months later, I got up in front of a much bigger group. I'd already processed my vulnerability, my emotions, and so forth. And I never tried to memorize again. I just speak from experience now. Now I look at slides and I have notes in case my slides fail. Sara, you had that experience. Your tech failed one time and you
Yeah.
just kicked in.
Mhm.
But what I'm saying is vulnerability allows us to go deeper into the emotions that
Yeah.
um, are holding us back from being our authentic, true selves. And the cool thing was that everybody came up to me afterward and said, good job. And I felt closer because I
Yeah.
had been vulnerable. And
Mm.
just want to encourage you to take a bit of a risk. And
Yeah.
so what, So it's definitely one of the best things that ever happened to me in hindsight.
Yeah. It is, and I think that also something similar happened to me when I did my live event last year. But there is so much power in vulnerability, and I think socially we aren't conditioned to deal with pain. I think that we have been conditioned to believe that happiness can be brought. And so when we feel negative emotions, we end up just resisting it and repressing it because we have never been shown how to deal with
Mm.
pain or kind of any negative emotion. Really, we're taught buy this, buy that, and it'll bring you temporary happiness, it'll bring you happiness. But then when we feel negative emotions, anger, pain, whatever it is, we don't we're not taught how to deal with it. And then I think because of that, vulnerability is such a scary thing for so many people, isn't it? But Brene Brown, she talks about vulnerability so much, and I absolutely love her work. She says
Yes.
vulnerability is taking a risk when you are not in control of the outcome.
Wow.
And I think it's profound. And I've watched her Netflix show and read her book, and when I
Mhm.
heard that statement, I just thought that's honestly what it comes down to. When you are not sure of the outcome, like that's what vulnerability is about. And you can't have vulnerability without courage, can
Yeah.
you?
Yeah.
You
Exactly.
can't. So, I mean, in terms of vulnerability in business, I would definitely say it's one of the most important things about business because it builds trust and it builds relationships, and you become relatable, don't you?
Yes.
And that obviously, makes people trust you. So I know it's so important in business, and I definitely try with my brand and my business to show my vulnerable side and the things that I've struggled with and overcome, so that I can show people how to overcome the things that I struggled with. I've made a conscious decision to be very self-aware of if I'm
Yes.
trying to repress negative emotions or resist them or judge them, or try and hide from them or run from them. I try and make a conscious decision to recognize all my emotions because it's just energy, isn't it?
Yes.
And we're so scared of it, but it's just energy. And I think it's a case of feeling it, recognizing it, breathing into it, accepting it, not judging it, loving it, and just experiencing it for what it is. And our negative energy, our negative emotions, they don't have to hurt us. We can learn from it. It's here to teach us something. you
Yeah,
know
we're not our emotions. I think we're
yeah,
taught perhaps that
yeah.
certainly negative emotions are bad,
Mhm.
and a lot of people drink them or smoke them or eat them.
Mm.
I sugared them,
Yeah.
pacify them, but they would pop their head up the next day kinda thing. And
Mm.
in Qigong, that kind of suppression causes illness, and it starts with blocked chi or blocked life force, and just by feeling, we can open up the flow of our life force again.
Yeah. When we have all these negative emotions, look how much we end up hurting other people as well. A lack of vulnerability, means that we end up suppressing negative emotions, and we can cause so much pain to other people because we're so scared to be vulnerable. And I think it's so much easier to cause pain than it is to feel pain,
Oh,
isn't it?
boy.
Um, and I think we have to be consciously aware of where we're causing pain and why we're doing that. And usually being vulnerable is at the root cause of pain. If we just accept and honor and listen to how we're feeling, where it's come from, why we feel this way, what's it here to teach us, and be vulnerable with ourselves and others, that then means that we can kind of stop putting that pain onto other people, really. So it's a brave thing, it's a courageous thing. And I
It
think
is.
socially, I think even as a society, and culturally, we need to learn that, you know, all energy is just energy. And negative emotions, we don't need to run from it or hide from it or suppress it. you know
Yeah,
so
exactly, and that we are bigger than it. In
yeah,
Qigong and some of the martial arts, they talk, or even meditation or yoga, they talk
yeah,
about being this universal energy,
hmm,
and the emotions just kinda come and go through the human body. But most of us as kids or even TV, we watch people wallow sometimes in their pain, over identifying with it. And if
yeah,
we can shift to it being more, the big picture again, I think we'll serve ourselves well.
yeah.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you.